Hello, I'm Voltaire Tupas. Welcome to Rappler Talk. September is the National Cleanup Month. Garbage is a huge global issue and the Philippines is contributing to the problem. It's the third largest ocean polluter in the world. How do we address this problem? Joining us is the convener of Let's Do It Philippines, Dan Diaz, which is the organization is leading the cleanup drive this month. And of course, Gemma Bagayawa Mendoza. She is the project lead of the 2017 Social Good Summit, which is being organized by Rappler. Let's talk about the campaign first, Dan. What's the goal this year?
Okay, so basically the Let's Do It Philippines movement started 4 years ago in partnership with the National Solid Waste Commission, which is under DANR-EMB, which takes the lead role actually to implement the Republic Act 9003 called as Ecological Solid Waste Management Act, which is 16 years old now. But the question is how come for the past 16 years we have a the crown jewel of all the laws all over the world, because countries from Europe are actually looking at our RA 9003 and they are the one perfectly implementing that in other countries.
Policy-wise, it's good policy, but we're the third largest polluter.
Why it would happen? It's because try to go to an island, remote island, in the Philippines. We have over 7,600 islands right now. And there are people living in a small island, maybe 1,000, 5,000. Question, do they have the system to manage their waste? When you go there, all the packaging from what they bought from mainland are just either burned, buried, or just dump it in the ocean. So basically, we are contributing to that. And also in the urban settings, people have not that attitude yet to really take care of this segregation at source, meaning the 3 R's. You know? So that's also one of
Remind them about the 3 R's.
The 3 R's are the, first and foremost, we have to reduce our waste. No? And then second is we have to recycle. No? And then third is we have to reuse. No? But the basic really is to refuse. No? Refuse from straws, refuse from these single-use plastics. So these are on the top of the pyramid, like that. When you talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, people can't go up when they don't feel yet the basic for food and security or money. So for our campaign for the past 4 years, we've been training Let's Do It volunteers on the ground for our eco camps, and these becomes leaders to protect the environment where they are. So they could have different advocacies that protects their environmental concern. But what we are united for every year, once a year, is for the cleanups. So to address this trash problem.
Let's talk about the problem more deeply. Kasi yung usual na problema, may mga nag-e-effort na mag-segregate, pero yung mechanism yung problema, for instance, sa town level, sa provincial level. Is that a problem across the country, or mayroong ilang mga pockets of...
Yes, there are good sides that are implementing. For example, I just read an article about Makati's initiatives with Senro. Senro, each municipality, they have their own environment officer. But sad to say, the Senros are not a permanent position. Whenever the mayor change, they will appoint a new Senro. So therefore, people in that office may vary or may be incompetent to deliver the what was done before. Or they change the program because this program is the last administration. So that one in terms of the legal. Then second, the problem also, people think that okay, if we segregate, but during the collection there's no segregated collection.
That actually applies to my household as well. Like
nag-segregate ka sa bahay mo?
We're trying. I mean, but the point of it is like when they collect, everything is ano naman.
So for now, what we are really pushing is to first develop the attitude, the change of mindset, and basically where you are concentrated, perfect the segregation, because actually our law 9003 is segregation at source. So if we are in the household, we have to segregate the 4 categories, the compostable, which is the bio waste, the food waste, Then you have the things that are recyclable. When you say recyclable, people or institutions are buying it. There's money on it.
Yes.
And then third is the residual waste, where it cannot be put for junk shops. No one's going to buy it, but it goes to the landfills.
How much does
And then
the
the last
houses,
is and the last is the hazardous or special waste or e-waste.
how much does a household contribute to the problem?
In each city, for example, on the average, all over or urban areas, half a kilo a day. One person generates half a kilo of solid waste a day. So if every day we think of conscious of our
Yes.
generation of waste, we reduce. So the city saves money from it. You know? And then the problems on health, because sometimes people think like, okay, cleanups is not related to health issue. Actually, it's related to health issues like malaria, the dengue. So DOH had programs for, especially during flooding, no? During rainy season, because there are diseases, no? that comes from.
Gemma,
But
you
this
would
is
like to say
actually
something?
where, so we had a little conversation earlier before this started, but this is where, because you talked about a 16-year-old
law.
16-year-old law, and we've been basically expecting government to implement that law. But what we see now is that there's a necessity to involve more sectors of society into this effort, and maybe talking about it from a homeowner's perspective, it's really difficult to like manage. I mean, like even if I want to do it, like okay, for instance, manage the solid waste consumption at home, diba? Yung the waste, yung mga nabubulok, for instance, how do you manage that? There are no support systems around that, and this is where we were thinking enterprise might be. This is where enterprise might come in. What are services? What are products that can be, that people can come up with that will help solve that problem of managing the waste? Because we're talking here of, I mean, as he mentioned, you have a consumer wanting to, help solve this problem, but coming from the consumer. How do you close that loop? How do you close that loop so that the product, the waste product, then goes back into the production cycle? I mean, so those kinds of things are the things that we are looking for. Like, and maybe there's some money that can be derived from it,
And the industry, ano naman yung role ng industry dito? Anong contribution niya doon sa garbage problem?
Yes. For the industry, sad to say, only few had a, what do you call this, what they produce or items, they recover it. Meaning companies, for example, like the batteries, some companies in the battery industries, they recover old batteries and give you a discount or a voucher if you return that. So these are the things that we are looking for these companies. But sad to say, most of them, they are not responsible for the production of their packaging. So when you buy a product, for example, you open it and then you just throw it away. You didn't think that packaging cost a lot, and the energy that was inputted for that, and you just dispose it. So if that could be sold, it goes to a recycling shop. So in the Philippines, there are informal street pickers, and average they earn 300 to 500 pesos a day, working from 5 to 10 p.m. So they just go to the street, get all these PET bottles and cartoons, no, or the Coke cans or something, the soft drinks cans. So they earn from day to day. So that has to be looked at as well.
And maybe managed better, diba?
So
Yun yung
the question now for the industry is to challenge them to really recover and be accountable, because you don't just have to produce a lot of stuff and then think, and then these items are just in the landfill. So in how many years are we, right now, the solid waste, the tons of solid waste that we generate is even more than the weight of the people living in the planet.
That's big.
That's worrisome.
Yeah.
In fact,
So-
sa food pa lang.
Sa food
sa
na-
food pa lang, ang
You
laki
have
na.
more than 50% of the household waste are food waste. So problem is people just mix the food, the wet, everything in one
Yeah.
plastic. So when you put it there, the dogs, the stray dogs,
Yes.
and then the street pickers just open it because they think, okay, there are still recyclable items there. So and then that's how we pollute the streets.
So
And the
maybe
aggregate-
we're looking here at ano to, for instance, when you're talking about food waste, I mean, as a nanay, I was actually thinking maybe, I mean, are there ways to help urban dwellers, manage mini composting systems or facilities within their homes or within their communities para hindi naman mahirap, I mean, for them because people are busy in the cities.
For urban.
Ang laki ng nasasayang na pagkain sa buong mundo dahil almost one-third, yun ang aggregate figure ng World Food Program, yung nasasayang lang. At sa Pilipinas, mga 3 point something kilograms na rice, in particular yung nasasayang. Kaya malaking issue na kinakaharap ng maraming households, families, at sayang yung mga pagkain din na.
And restaurants.
And restaurants.
So that's why in other countries they have programs, like whatever is. I went to in the US, they have these Pandera Cares. So all the food that is maybe 2 to 3 days na ma-spoil, ilagay dun sa isang shop. And people just go there for free. And if you have the money, you pay. So I went there and I don't pay anything, I eat.
And one of the organizations na na-interview namin, isa sa mga awardees ng Tayo Awards, from Dumaguete, ang ginagawa nila, yung mga nasasayang na or mga sobrang mga pagkain or mga gulay sa palengke, ginagather nila at the end of the day, instead na itapon ng mga nagbibenta, at binibigay nila sa mga orphanage, sa mga walang tirahan, mga street kids, etc. So, merong pagmamaximize may system doon ng pagmamaximize ng ganung mga efforts to benefit the public.
That's one of the local initiatives that we are happy.
Yes.
But some hotels would not want it because maybe they will be sued, no? So that's when you take out food, there's this waiver. But if it's part of the city or an ordinance, they are really supposed not to dispose that, no?
And maybe there's a mechanism for
Yes.
distribution, di
For
ba?
example,
Mga
the
ganon.
IEC in Cebu, there was the food committee, and then they make sure that all the foods that are not eaten has to be distributed to designated orphanage community. So and they have a spoilage time. So at the end of the day, there was no food waste.
These particular stories give us hope, but the challenge is to scale up, and I think that's the problem, in fact, which you're trying to address this month. So ano yung objectives ng clean-up drive ngayong buwan?
So
Anong mga
for
particular
the
activities?
we are in line with the DNR EMB's campaign for the September is a cleanup month, and our movement for the past 4 years campaigns for a one-day national cleanup day that happens on the 3rd Saturday of September. That is also the International Coastal Cleanup Day. So for the past 3 years now, DNR had expanded the program from ICC to cover reef to ridge. So we don't want people just to go to the coastal and then take care of the coast. But what we want is where you are located, then clean it up and really implement the RA 9003. So ours is, we are all volunteer, and we are really willing to help solve these issues on trash, to help educate and change their mindset on segregation at source, not only on the consumer side, but accounting these so-called big polluters in the country, not necessarily solid waste, air, water, they have, the NHR has that list. So we are asking everyone to participate and initiate their own cleanup. Usually it's LGU-led. This September 16, the Let's Do It movement will participate with the SM by the Bay on September 16. It's initiated by Pasay, Senro in partnership with SM Care. So we will launch our one-year campaign for this World Cleanup Day next year. So So now it's not only 5% that we are aiming for the Philippines. That's the 5 million one-day cleanup, but it's a united effort to clean our planet, our home.
So you're mobilizing at least 5 million
million
people
in
who
the
will
country.
help push the campaign.
Yes. So come September 15 next year, we are all over the country, and then we do cleanup actions.
Okay. Well, it's good that they pointed it out because Rappler is holding the Social Good Summit this September also, and it's pretty much aligned with the objectives of the summit. So, ano ang bago sa summit na ito na pwedeng makatulong, magbigay ng venue sa maraming mga organizations at individuals who would like to help in protecting the environment, participating in the cleanup drive?
So first, just a brief on the Social Good Summit. We've been organizing the Social Good Summit since the year Rappler was born in 2012. And since then, we've been discussing how to use social media and technology to help solve the major social problems. And last year, we introduced this hackathon. It's actually an ideathon. It's a major brainstorming session around what are action points, what are the possible interventions that can be done to solve these pressing problems. So the sustainable development goals that we're helping promote. And this year, we're doing it again. We called it Hack Society. The whole idea is to hack away at the global goals,
Okay.
like to solve the global goals one hack at a time. And for this year, the key focus areas are media and democracy, peace, governance, and local initiative, environment and climate change, and then public health and well-being.
Okay.
But the main theme is about leaving no one behind and innovating with a purpose. So the whole idea behind it is like these areas are pathways towards that, towards leaving no one behind. So we're looking for hacks specific to the topic at hand. We're looking for hacks around responsible consumption. I mean, to protect the environment and promote and protect the climate. I mean, address climate change. There might be hacks, there might be ideas out there, possible enterprises, possible products or services that can be thought of that aim to solve the pressing problems or like solve this conundrum of how do you promote responsible consumption and production. So yun yung yun yung isang hinahanap namin this year.
Yeah, maganda kasi beyond yung mga drive,
Yes.
I understand kahit isang araw lang yan or isang buwan, yung talagang inaasahan nating mas sustainable na mga
Yes. And
solutions ay yung mga
so that's why
citizen-led
enterprise
projects.
ang hinahanap natin. Well, enterprise, but also we're also looking at innovation within organizations. So it might be things that companies might want to adapt. Kung you were talking about pressing these companies, these manufacturers to be more responsible about the waste that their products produce, diba? But what products can be derived out of that waste, diba? Na makakatulong na sa mga mahihirap, makakatulong to produce, to create jobs, but at the same time, aim to help to address these pressing problems.
Turning garbage into
Yes,
gold.
so that they don't go into the oceans. Yung
Correct.
ganon. So those are the kinds of ideas that we're looking for. There are,
Para sa mga hindi pa
Oo,
particular,
yes,
hindi pa masyadong aware sa process,
Yes,
how exactly are you going to
So for
gather
at the
these
moment we're
proposals?
crowdsourcing hacks. So we have pushed out the callouts for these ideas, and then in September 14 and 15, the whole idea is so 14 will be processing these ideas in workshops. The idea is to fine-tune yung mga services, the idea for services and products na naisip nila, so that they become more workable solutions. So they
Okay.
will we're getting mentors from industry, subject matter experts, as well as tech experts, innovation experts to help them out. We're looking for the participants we're looking for are young people. So we're looking for people 30 and below, and the idea is to to promote enterprise, maybe services or businesses that can be derived out of this, yung ganong effort.
Dan, you might want to be one of the mentors. Anong tingin mo ang ideal na innovation which you think can help address the bigger problem?
Yeah, so for the RA 9003, actually, most of the solid waste are food waste, as what was mentioned, and there's a clamor for how to make use of this waste from the household level. So an IoT or a solution based approach could be looked at, so that this could be collected and then turn them into a bokashi ball. I know someone, our partner, is also doing the Earth Ventures. They do bokashi balls.
What's bokashi?
It's like from the food waste, they make it into balls with some algae and then throw it on the river, and then it purifies the river. It's a Japanese technology, and DNR is also promoting that. Also, aside from the collecting that to feed the vermiculture, so you have basically organic fertilizers. So it has to be in that closed loop. Then second, we have to look at right now, especially the e-waste. You know, the junk shops actually are good businesses, because you don't have to invest a lot. It's just a trash of your neighborhood, and then you collect that, and then you can have a business out of trash. So, for example, in the Philippines, we don't have a company or industry that really you know, process the e-waste. It has to be imported to. It has to be exported to China, and I know it's like 1,000 kilo or pesos per kilo for the
And then every now and then we lose all those peripherals, 'di ba? Yung mga ganong klaseng ano. There's quite
Ayan,
a
meron na
lot of
tayong
e-waste there.
mga tips na yun para sa mga gustong lumahok sa hackathon. Ano ang suporta na ibibigay ng Social Good Summit? Kasi ideas, and maraming good ideas sa
So you're
Pilipinas.
talking
How
here,
do you sustain that?
at the moment, we're talking to possible innovation partners who might want to help to keep on mentoring. Because one of the things talaga is like, how do you, these are, a lot of the things that we got last year were raw ideas. And we welcome that. This is the first step in the innovation process, not being afraid to brainstorm and think of new quirky things. And that's from that point though, to developing that into a minimum viable product, that's the challenge. So this is the kind of support that we want to we want to give. It's like we're gathering mentors, we're gathering subject matter experts from various sectors, and technology experts as well, to help to give feedback, so that they support, so that the hackers, the generators of ideas, can then fine-tune their ideas into something that can be funded initially. They can pitch it to other donor or to venture capital, and then maybe come up with there's a small prize. It's 50,000 for the main winner. And then we're also going to produce a video about the idea, which they can then use for pitching. Kasi that's big. I mean, like, and then we'll share that. We'll promote their ideas also in our social media channels.
Maganda yan para ma-channel naman yung mga creative energies ng mga millennials.
And I forget, the winner this year will have that chance to represent the Philippines in the regional competition for ideas that hack into the Sustainable Development Goals. That's one of the things that we're doing with the UNDP.
Okay, that's good. Speaking of the Sustainable Development Goals, what particular goals are we trying to attain here?
I'm looking at, I have the 17 right now. So number 17 is really on partnerships. So our campaign since the past 4 years for Let's Do It is really built on partnership, because not even 1 peso we got grants from the government, but we're really doing it really to take care of our people's health, and then also the volunteerism that we want to instill in each citizenry. Second, it's also contributes to the SDG 15, life on the land. So if you have
Yes.
an unhealthy environment, then people get sick. And
Okay.
then life below water, because all the solid waste, the trash problem you would see goes actually to the ocean. After the end of the day, after the flood, you will wonder, oh, the city is clean. Actually, they go to the drainage and then go to the ocean. And then the fish are now suffering. Actually, all of our solid waste, even animals, had eaten all those waste, and we also eat. So, yung basura mo babalik sa'yo. Actually, yung basura tinapon mo, kakainin mo. Because at the end of the day, the fishes, the
Yes,
microbe particles are being eaten already. Then the SDG 12 on responsible consumption. So as the citizen with Laudato Si, to take care of the call really is to reduce carbon footprints. And if you're not into zero waste, the question is, how much waste are you producing each day?
Yes.
So that is, of course, the Pope.
The Pope's encyclical
encyclical,
for the cry of the poor, which is the last mile community,
Okay.
and the cry of the earth. Really, it addressed to stewardships on the planet. And aside from that, it's in the SDG. It's also addressed the number 6, clean water and sanitations. Because eventually, if you just throw your oil, paint under the anywhere, it goes to our water aquifers, and then we're just drinking our water. No? So it really addresses also good health, because as I said, these cleanups can cause diseases, no? And we
Yes,
have to prevent that from happening. So when you try to look at the SDG goals, it really these efforts for cleanup instill education at the very young age. If we teach children, and eventually these children will bring that to their homes, and that changes the hope that we're trying to look at is not necessarily the cleanups, but it should be beyond cleanups. And to develop, an app, like at the end of the day, how much carbon footprints I did, no, or the segregation, am I reducing that? So it becomes an innovation for motivate people on the games, and learn
Yes.
from it. So.
Yeah,
And let's
big-
not forget, meron ng there are a bit of gains already. Like people are bringing their own bags to their supermarkets.
Yeah.
So it really matters that we we consider ourselves as stakeholders in this. Like we are part of this. We are part of the solution.
Even
These are big words, big goals. But Gemma, you've observed how young people participated during the previous hackathon. Ano ang nakita mo sa kanilang yung potential?
Last year we had just 2 weeks to crowdsource ideas, and we came out with 50 ideas. Well, not all of them were right. I mean, a lot of them are raw ideas that need to be processed. But I mean, that's saying something already. Like 50 ideas to solve to address the sustainable development goals. We want to get more ideas this year. What we see is the young people really are looking at. I mean, a lot of them are really into that. Are really into social good. They just want to get a little guidance, and this is where the mentorship will come in. And there's a lot of potential behind it. We really think enterprise type solutions are the way to go as well, because at the end of the day, it's not about just relying on government, diba? Palagi kasi we rely on government to solve our problems. We should be part of that.
Correct. We just watched the inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power. There was a line which really struck me. Ang sabi doon, if world leaders will not lead, citizens of the world will. So I think this is one way
and that's
to
the
empower
spirit of the Social Good
young
Summit as
people.
well.
Yeah.
Like getting everybody involved.
Okay.
People's participation, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, your final message, parting shots, invite them
Yes.
to participate.
Once again, we are calling all Filipinos, volunteers, to win over waste. So it's not war on waste, but to win over it by basically implement the RA 9003, segregation at source, reduction of our waste, and to help government to solve these issues, no? And to report. The good thing is in Let's Do It World, we have a mobile app that we are launching. So if you have a mobile phone, just go to World Cleanup and download where you can take pictures. You can now digitalize the waste, and you can sign in with your Facebook account. And once we digitalize the waste, we can schedule a cleanup. So that's our preparation tool. And in the usual cleanups, they don't report, no? So we have to report to the DNR. There is a form there, so I will share the link later, and you can just include that. And then this coming September 11 to 22, I invite people in Manila to help us with, initiated by Greenpeace Philippines and all NGOs. We are cleaning up the La Pacheca, the Freedom Island.
Yeah.
It's called
Along Manila Bay.
yeah, La Papachea in Las Piñas. So for 10 straight days, we are calling volunteers to clean it up. But the other thing is we have a brand audit. So at the end of the day, how many companies are that we have seen packaging are there? So at the end of 10 days, that will be a tally. May scorecard sila.
Okay.
So the question on responsible
Yes.
production. So we'll close the loop. So we are now into the circular economy, pushing forward, and then campaign for a zero waste lifestyle.
Gemma?
And well, from my end, our message is really don't be afraid of innovation. Basically, this is first steps, baby steps. Baby steps is about looking at a problem and thinking of ways to solve that problem. And that might be a product, that might be a service, like the stuff that we discussed right now. We asked you to submit that. Who knows that you might be the winner, and you will get support. The idea behind this is that you can get mentorship here. You can get some support from the community, from elders who are who are experts in various fields.
Okay.
So,
For those who are watching, just comment, share your comments and questions sa comment section. They will respond. Can you respond to their queries after
Yes.
dun sa ating FB Live? Well, thank you for joining us. We've been talking to Dan Diaz, the convener of Let's Do It Philippines, and Gemma Bagayawa Mendoza, the project lead of the Social Good Summit. Let's not spread hate, let's spread innovation and join the Social Good Summit this September. Thank you for watching Rappler Talk. I'm Voltaire Tupas.